Hey everybody, welcome to the Game Addicts Podcast, the show where we talk about the modern and retro video games that we play and collect. I'm your host, Brando. Joining me today, as always, is this podcast player 2, Mike.
Oh, hello.
How's it going, Mike?
It is going fantastic.
Same here. It has been a wonderful week of the World of the Game Addicts Podcast.
Yes, it has been.
It's had its ups and it's had its downs.
But we are up.
We are currently up, and we want to thank all of our new listeners across the globe, man. Thank you for checking out the episode, however you're doing it, whether you're on your favorite podcast service or on YouTube or on the Journey to Comics Network Patreon where you get early access if you just throw in a bone or two.
Yeah.
But thank you for checking us out, man. We've been having quite the week here. We tried to stream.
Yeah.
Or we were going to try to stream.
So funny story about that. We're going to just bust right into it.
Let's go right into it.
All right, so I got the computer, which I showcased on here when I purchased it.
Yeah.
And so I had assumed, and I know better, that this girl knew her power wattage when she added the graphics card. I was wrong. So, the Elgato HD 60S requires a lot of power through the 3.0 USB. So we plug it in, and everything that is USB powers down instantly. And we both kind of like, what? And it took us a while to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I come to the terms that it is a power consumption problem. So a couple days ago, I've actually upgraded it to a 500 watt, which I already had with one of my other mini PCs. So we spent about what, 2.5, 3, probably 2.
Well, yeah. I think honestly, it seems like it was a lot longer than that, but I think we only messed with it for about an hour.
Yeah.
Because we were going to be, we were looking at everything that was already on the computer for streaming, and I'm like, hey, let's plug it in, and you're like, hey, let's bring it in there and set it up, and I'm like, well, let's plug in the Elgato first.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm glad that we did.
Yes.
Because obviously it didn't work. It wasn't getting enough power. It came up with the whole power surge and the USB ports, which unfortunately blew your speakers.
Yeah, luckily they're not like super expensive speakers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you actually thought it blew your keyboard.
yeah, well, it kept flickering on and off. Actually, all the USBs now properly work.
That's good.
To my knowledge.
That is good. Now, you had a USB dongle or an external powered USB 3.0 hub,
Yeah.
which was actually fried during the
Electrical
storm that went through.
Which, see, we didn't know that because we hadn't used that, and with this new PC, it actually has a micro SD card slot. So she hasn't been using, like, what was on that? It was like we would have her camera slot, because on the computer that I built for her, I didn't get her one of those because, those are like a couple of bucks. Yeah. Big deal. So,
like an adapter.
Yeah, it's this little adapter that has all of the types of cards that you can put in there. So it didn't work. And we were unable to do anything.
Yeah. We did cook out, and we did have some really tasty chicken.
Yes, we did. It was very tasty.
So therefore, the night wasn't a total loss.
No.
As far as I'm concerned, because we did get some food in us, and it was a really yummy time, and got to hang out. I mean, because we really, when we don't hang out anymore.
Yeah, we
get together and we do this, which is, this is us hanging out, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah.
But us not having to have the camera or the microphones on. That's something that me and Nate noticed about probably a little bit later than what we should have. That anytime that we got together, it was never about the two of us hanging out. It was like, what all can we get it done in the amount of time that we're going to be together?
Yep.
And so it just became, whenever we were together, let's power through and let's get as much done together, because that content is always greater than when it's over Skype.
Yes.
Yes. You actually can feed off each other's conversation a lot more natural. So, yeah, I want to say, like, it was this summer, like, they came down. They actually came here. I made I made the barbecue, and we hung out. We cooked a little bit. We ate. We all just hung out and just talked and got really, I guess you could say, got to know each other, even though we already know each other. But just sit back and chill and talk and not have to worry about what we're doing tonight or how much are we recording tonight. Or
we didn't have any podcasts.
No, man. Let's just get together and let's chill
out.
That is not what I'm doing this coming weekend.
No.
We are going to be podcasting our asses off. But you got to do that sometimes.
Yep. So
I'm looking forward to that. I'm also really happy with our numbers of growing with this podcast. Ever since last week that we got together, I showed you the numbers for the network and how that was doing over there.
Right.
And you were curious, how's the Game Addicts doing? I'm like, I've never looked. I've literally put the episode up. I put it on YouTube. I spread it out, throughout the different social medias, and then I go. And then I plug it for probably a few days until the next thing that I'm plugging comes along, and then I kind of let that do its thing. Come back around to the next week when we're going to be recording again.
Yep.
Well, because I'm always looking at like the next show. Sometimes at the last minute trying to put a show together.
Yeah.
But sometimes I have a clear idea of what I want to do. Trying to talk like the DLC one. I'm like, I want to talk about DLC. So I'm like, let's see if I could put a show together about that. And yes, I could.
And the funny thing about the DLC, we have something to add to it that has been will be released this month.
But
next week, I believe.
Then the retrospective ones, those are easy ones to do because it doesn't require us to be up to date on anything. We can take a step back. We don't have to worry about what's the latest news in video games. We can just say, let's just talk about the PS2 and talk about everything about that, except for you. You weren't on that.
Nope, because I didn't own a PS2 when I was.
Well, hey, that's okay.
I do now, and that's actually the vast majority of my collection is PS2.
Hey, you know what? The vast majority of my collection is PS1. I have a lot of NES games. I never had an NES growing up, so.
Right, but you have a very interesting game sitting in front of us for PS2.
I do. We actually have pickups. We went out and we spent some monies.
The day after the the other podcast.
The day after the was it the streaming? No. The day, it was the day after the other podcast because it was
Friday.
Because it was Friday, leading into the Labor Day holiday weekend.
Yeah. And
went to the old Replay of Disc, our local store, and they've been having a lot of cool stuff lately.
It's just Candyland right now by us. I mean, there's some pickups that me and you have both walked through, and we're like, never seen that before.
I actually have seen this once before.
Right.
And it's not rare. It's just not common. And that is Mr. Mosquito on the PlayStation 2. This was published by Eidos Interactive, made by Fresh Games. Never heard of them. This is a weird-ass freaking game. The graphics are pretty terrible. The voice acting is terrible. You play as a mosquito sucking blood out of people.
I love the picture here on the back. So in the picture of the back, it has a girl in a bathtub.
Yeah. And
you're playing her as Mosquito. And then another picture with 3 people looking down at you. And then a battle scene where it's zoomed in on, I believe, one of your people.
If I'm to be like correct, and because I played like 2 levels of this game, and before I played the third one, I took it out so I could try the other game out. You're in the Yamada family home.
Yeah.
The first person that you suck blood from is the daughter. She went on a school trip and her bug spray is worn off, so you can go and suck the blood out of her, and then you go after the mom. So the girl in the bathtub is the high school girl. Tell you what, man, there is no manual for this, unfortunately. This is a CD-ROM, blueback on PS2. Always really neat to see these because this is what the system was originally advertised with, and all the promo pictures when the system was first coming out. You saw all these neat little blue discs. And we thought all the discs were going to be blue until the DVD-ROM games came in. This game came out in 2001, 2002, something like that. I saw this once before. I saw this at the same store that I got Chrono Trigger complete.
Yeah.
He had it. I want to say he had it for about $20, and I got this for $10. So
it's a pretty good price.
You know what? In the case, it's a little beat up, but I'll be honest with you. This game is a little beat up, so
yeah,
it is an interesting game, and I cannot wait to show you that game.
I can't wait to play it.
You are gonna go the entire time. You're gonna go, what the hell is this? Because that's exactly what I was doing. Also, no manual in this sucks because I had to look up how to play the game.
It doesn't have a tutorial.
It doesn't tell you how to do it. It tells you this button does this button does that. It doesn't really, unless I missed it. It's not like today where they hold your hand through it.
Right.
there's a learning curve into controlling your mosquito in this game.
All right, so my pickup is The Lord of the Rings, The Third Age on the GameCube, which is one of the few. There's not a lot. There's not a little bit, but there's not a lot of the dual disc for the Cube. And this game was kind of just an impulse buy because it says on the front, the most exciting RPG since Final Fantasy. Well, we're going to see. That's why I got it.
Yeah.
It was $4.
Yeah, we looked up.
The reviews are really high on it.
Yeah. I mean, it is a turn-based RPG, and it's 2 players. So
it's something that we'll be able to play together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks neat for the time. It's just one of those games. I don't know if it got a lot of steam behind it.
It's also, you have to think, any game that is that shares a license to a movie, instantly is not going to be looked at by the masses as being this amazing game. Sometimes you do get that, but other times it's more than likely you're looking at RPGs that are going to already have like an instilled franchise, your Final Fantasy. Sometimes even like, upstarts. Sometimes it's the developer, like BioWare.
Yeah.
BioWare made, Neverwinter Nights. They made Knights of the Old Republic, and they made Mass Effect, a brand new game. And all those were good. And then they made Dragon Age, brand new IP. But because it was BioWare, and because they hadn't hit like a foul ball yet, people rushed out to buy it, and it was just as good.
So mine comes with a manual.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's in pretty good shape. I mean, even the discs are in good shape. But it's just something that we looked at, and we both kind of looked at each other and were like, is it 2-player? Yep. How's the ratings? It looks pretty good.
I didn't expect the ratings to be as high.
I didn't either.
I'll be honest with you, because
the reason why I got it was because of the ratings.
I ended up getting all the Lord of the Rings games. I got 2 of them on the GameCube, the 2 Towers, and then Return of the King. And I think I have Fellowship of the Ring on the Xbox.
See, this isn't really tied to the movie. This is just Lord of the Rings, The Third Age.
Right. Well, see, because you do have a couple of Lord of the Rings RPGs. I think there's a War for the North on the 360. Maybe it's also on the PS2. That RPG also was highly rated and recommended. So, I mean, there are some games in the Lord of the Rings series that aren't just movie tie-ins that ended up doing pretty well.
Right.
This game, I think you're going to like this game.
That's a side-scroller.
This is a side-scroller mixed with an action RPG.
It's going to be interesting.
The art style, it's a mix between like a really cool-looking 2D, and there's some 3D effects in there as well. This game, take a little bit of...
It's Atlas.
Yes, it's published by Atlas. Take a little bit of God of War. Take a little bit of like an action RPG type leveling system.
Right.
Because when you kill people, then their souls start roaming the battlefield, and you press a button to kind of like suck their souls in.
Huh.
Or to your weapon. I thought it was really cool. I played 2 levels. So I barely even got into it. This game is fully voice acted.
Huh.
It's very anime-ish. It's got the whole Norse type mythology, obviously Odin.
Yeah.
It's Odin's sphere. But out of the games that I bought, these are the only 2 that I actually tested out, because I've already played all the other ones. But I'm interested in diving deeper into this game because it was just something completely different. Now, if you look on here, you'll see this little circle, right?
Yeah.
Now, you will roam this circle. That circle is your level.
Okay.
So basically, when you get to a level, you're gonna run. You can run left or right, and the level will scroll. So you'll be like technically running in a big circle.
Right.
And enemies will come at you, and you can do combos. You can jump in the air and kind of like glide and dive down on them. You can do special attacks once you build up, and you get items, and then you get it is really, really deep for what it is. And of course you're gonna have boss battles and all that kind of stuff. I really wish this was 2-player, but it's only 1 player.
Yeah. So the game that I came out for,
that I found and was like, hey dude, you don't have this, right?
Yeah. So Dark Cloud 2. I don't know much about the Dark Cloud series. I played the first one a little bit just to get started.
They are exclusive to the Sony PlayStation.
Yes. And
I believe both Dark Cloud 1 and 2 have been re-released as PS2 classics onto the PS4 with trophy support.
But you can only get those on the download.
Yes, you can get...
No physical form.
No, you can't put the disc in and have it redeem, which
Right.
would be cool, but Sony's not all about that life.
No.
Not like Xbox. I don't know how Xbox is going to do the OG Xbox games anyway. If it's going to be able to read the disc and then download it, or if you're just going to have to download them and buy them that way. I don't know. I know that for the Xbox One, the 360 discs, you put the disc in and it'll take you to the store where you download the game from the store.
Right. Yep.
But you have to have the disc in, and it doesn't charge you for the download.
Registration.
Basically, the disc is then just the registration for activating the game.
Right.
And really, that's just the way that we have games for PS4 and Xbox One now. Anyway, the discs are just there to, oh hey, yeah, you own this game.
Yeah, I'm interested in playing this.
It's covered with stickers.
It is covered with a lot of stickers.
So many stickers.
I don't know if I want to take them all off.
Yes, you will. I will help you because
there's so many. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I count 11.
EB Games, of course, that is how old that is. EB Games was originally bought and by GameStop.
Yeah.
And so, Dark Clouds. I want to say the Dark Clouds have gone down a little bit since they got released on the PS4.
Because I remember this was like $30.
Yeah, it was, and you got it for 10.
I got it for 10. So
got
a good price.
Pretty good deal. The next two that I have. The Kingdom Hearts series for the PS2, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Kingdom Hearts 1 is the greatest hits version. It is a little beat up. It is not the greatest
condition. A little sun faded.
Well, a little bit, but it looks like it's just generally dirty. And then on the inside, it does have a manual. Manual is a little bit beat up in the same exact shape, so hey, at least it's consistent.
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts is an awesome series. It's taken way too long for us to get to 3. But what's cool about it is that all the little side games are a part of the story as well, and there actually is an order to play them in to get the full, complete background story. This is confusing as fuck. I'm just gonna say that up front. If you understand the story of Kingdom Hearts, I need you to help explain it to me because I get parts of it,
right?
But then it just goes deeper into some games go deeper into I need to play through Birth by Sleep and something like that to get the full explanation of the Organization 13 group that's in this. This mixes Final Fantasy with Disney stuff that you think shouldn't go together, but does. Of course, you play as Sora, and then Goofy and Donald are your teammates, and so they're running around with Gorsh and but it is hilarious and also awesome at the same time. You can choose what your class is from the beginning of the game.
Right.
You're either a warrior, a mage, or you can use you can choose attack, magic, or defense, whichever one you want to specialize on. And typically, it's set up for you to be the attacker because then Donald is the mage, and Goofy fights with just the shield. But then you also get replacements. You get a special team member, like you get Tarzan. I think you get Peter Pan, maybe, or and then I think Ariel for the Little Mermaid world. In this game, you go to Hercules' world. You go to
Aladdin.
Of course you go to Aladdin. You go to Nightmare Before Christmas. You go to Sleeping Beauty. No, I'm sorry, Alice in Wonderland.
You're moving around. I can't see it too much.
Well, no, because it's not on the back. I'm going by memory.
Oh, okay.
Because there's the main hub world that you go to. That's not based off of anything. It's called Hollow Bastion. But then all the other worlds that you go to are based off of Disney worlds. Or worlds that they own, like A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Right.
But then the second game is, I played the first game, I liked it. This is the one that made me fall in love with the series. This is where everything gets smoothed out. This is the first one. This is where they perfected it.
Right.
This one, they're looking for Riku. They're looking for King Mickey. He's disappeared. Well, guess who shows up in the second one? King Mickey. He's right there on top.
No way.
He's right there on top. Of course, King Mickey is a badass. This game picks up right where the other one left off. It starts you off with a new character that you're playing as. And there's a whole mystery behind this new character. And then you end up, Sora ends up waking up from his coma sleep, and you play as him again. And you go to the Lion King world, the Mulan world. You go back to the Aladdin world. You go back to the Hercules world. This time you actually go to Hades.
Ooh.
Where Orin joins your party, the first Final Fantasy character to join your party.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool because he's dead.
Right.
You go to the Pirates of the Caribbean world.
It's pretty neat.
And then you go to the old school 1930s Mickey world, Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie?
It's all in black and white right there.
Yeah.
And then, one of my favorites, you go to Tron. You go inside a computer and you go into Tron's world.
Huh.
This game is badass. Also, super boss in both of these games. Sephiroth.
Duh.
Have fun. This copy of Kingdom Hearts 2 has the manual.
In good shape.
Doesn't even look touched.
Yeah.
Now, I have these games on the re-release on the PS3.
Right.
But, oh, sorry. Knocked over your phone. I wanted these for the PS2 collection because I've been collecting PS1 and 2. Of course, these are like two of my favorite systems of all time. But when you look at the collection, you're like, well, where's Kingdom Hearts? I'm like, well, I haven't bought them yet because they're so freaking expensive. They were like $15 each for the longest time. And I already was going to buy the HD versions or had bought the HD version, so why do I need to buy an extra version?
Right.
These ended up being $4 a piece. And the main reason that, the series is a big deal to me, and I don't really care about greatest hits. But one reason why I really didn't care about greatest hits is because I have the other versions of the games. So, will these get played? Not first. If my PS3 dies, I'm gonna play these.
Right.
Because I'm gonna play the HD ones first because they do really look good, and they are the same games, and they're also the Kingdom Hearts versions on 1.5 HD and 2.5 HD are the Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 remixed, the versions that Japan got that had a little bit extra stuff in them. And maybe like a harder difficulty or whatever. But finding these for $4 a piece, I finally justify getting these and putting these on the shelf to add to the collection.
Right.
So then you look at my list and it's like, all right, man, I got a couple other big, awesome key titles for the PS2 that I can cross off.
Right.
Really, really, really happy to add those.
So my next one is Lost Odyssey.
Yep, thank you.
I've been wanting to pick it up. It's just...
It's starting to go back up in price.
It's starting to go back up in price.
You paid because you didn't pay sticker price. It went down.
I paid. I think it was
the same
12.
price.
It was $11.99.
Yeah,
$11.99 for this. So, if you don't know what this is, it's basically Final Fantasy.
Essentially, that.
I mean, you're looking at
Hironobu Sakaguchi
made
left or got fired, whatever you want to say it, from Square after the flop of Final Fantasy the movie, Spirits Within. And he ended up going back into the gaming world and forming Mistwalker Studios.
Yes.
And he ended up signing an exclusive deal with the Xbox 360 to put 2 games on there. And one of them was this one. It was Lost Odyssey. So he teamed up again with Nobuo Uematsu, of course, famed composer for the Final Fantasy series, from Final Fantasy 1. And he ended up doing work for 10. Then he did, I think, all of 11 soundtrack, and then he did all of 14 soundtrack.
Yes.
So he's been in and out since 10. I think 9 was his last full one, but then before then 9 was his last full one full time.
Right.
Since then he has come back to do 11 and 14. He did a little bit of work on 10, but I don't think he did 10 alone.
No, but 14 he did the music, all of it. And let me tell you what. When you dive in, you instantly feel like you're back at Final Fantasy.
Well, see, that's what I felt about hearing the music in Lost Odyssey as well. Like, if you follow just the character design and the look of the game. Now, that kind of blew your mind because you didn't know.
I didn't know it was going to be 4 discs.
On the 360, this is a pretty big game. It's got 4 discs.
Huge game. They have 4 discs on an Xbox. What were these discs? About 20 gigs?
No. Absolutely not. because you're looking at Mass Effect 2, which is 14 gigabytes. That's on 2 discs. So I'm guessing maybe 6 or 7 gigabytes max.
Okay.
Because I want to say that is the DVD 9 format, which is for the Xbox 360. Disk space.
I was going to say capacity, but it wasn't picking it up. All right, let's see how big it is. Between 4 and 8 gigabytes.
Right on the money, my man.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's... Now, that's not to say that all those discs are maxed out, but if they are, then that's like a 24 gigabyte.
Yeah.
Actually, that'd be 32.
It's 32.
If it's maxed out, which I doubt
if
it
it's
is.
8, yeah. So I'm assuming it's going to be close, but this is something that I've looked at picking up for a while. We've talked about it a lot. The problem is that every time we find it, and I'm like, oh, I might pick it up, there's something wrong.
Well, something wrong, or also you just recently picked up your 360, so now you can actually sit down and go, man, I don't know what to play. Guess what? You got, even with Dark Cloud 2 now, and even that Lord of the Rings game, we both love RPGs.
Yep.
I mean, if you look at what we got, Kingdom Hearts is technically an action RPG. What I got here is an RPG. You ended up getting 3 RPGs.
Yes.
And so
4.
Well, I'll get 4. You got all 4 RPGs. So it's like when you're sitting there trying to figure out what to play, that's what I'm excited about too. Is that I started Lost Odyssey, I was really liking it, and then I ended up turning it off and then playing something else, and of course never got back. Just like I need to get back to Persona.
Right.
I actually downloaded. This is sort of a pickup, not really, because it was a free game for August. It was Just Cause 3.
Right.
I downloaded it. I haven't even played it yet.
Right.
I was going to play it last night, and then ended up doing this whole rigmarole thing, being stuck in town and getting home after 9 o'clock to pick up a swing set for my kid.
Oh.
He's going to be happy, but I was like, it's not how I want to spend my day. Damn it. Because it was all last minute kind of thing.
Right.
Grumble. But I persevered. I went and did it. I was a good hubby. I was a good daddy. Went and did that, and I didn't play it all last night. Because I want to try that game out because...
Which game?
Just Cause.
Just Cause, okay.
I want to try it out and just kind of like give it a quick review here because I've never played any of them. Right. I have Just Cause 2 on the 360 free game for the Xbox. I have it on the Xbox One.
Right.
So it's like I have that one. I have free game on. So I have almost all the games for free.
Right.
But I want to, it's supposed to be this crazy kind of open world. Let's drive around. Let's blow shit up. Let's grapple around. I've seen Wes play it. It looked like chaos. But that can be fun sometimes. Chaos especially when you're in a mood to let's just go blow shit up.
Let's just fuck some shit up.
But
anyways.
I've got my last one. This is also published by Atlas. This is Game of Thrones.
A good game.
The not Telltale version. This is the RPG one that came out in 2012. This is... I've already played this. I got this for free on the PS Plus, on the PS3. And this is not great.
It's pretty decent.
It's good.
It's decent.
And I want to own it. I wanted to own it.
Right. It's not the Telltale series.
I also got to review that because I finally beat that.
Right.
Mine came with a manual. It's in 2 languages. Check this out. We haven't looked at this. I haven't showed you this. I think I showed Nate when we were talking before the podcast. This details some of the characters that are in this that you're going to come across. Some of them you may recognize, like that guy.
Nope, don't know who he is.
That is War Commander Mormont.
Yes.
But how about that guy? He's a little different. How about that?
Queen Cersei.
Yeah.
Bitch herself.
But they just look different. Now, I don't think that the actors in the show reprise their roles here, because this game was written in conjunction with George R.R. Martin to take place in the universe. You're playing as 2 former soldiers of Robert's Rebellion, and end up you kind of split between the 2. One of them goes to the Wall. That's where your story starts with him. And another one, he was the son of a lord who is returning home from abroad, from Essos or something. And I guess he hasn't been home in years, and he's returning home because his father is ill, and he is the
rightful heir.
He's the heir. But I want to get in, and I want to complete the story. The gameplay of it is basically Dragon Age-like.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is pretty similar to Dragon Age Origins, not Inquisition. Inquisition is a little bit more refined than this one is. But not a bad game. And I definitely want to dive into it and play it a little bit more get the story. This says it has game content download, so it has some sort of like add-ons to it, but I don't know if it has full-blown DLC. The thing is that it's just called Game of Thrones. It doesn't have any other title along with it. So this is, in a way, definitely a cash-in. So take that as it will. Sometimes cash-ins are really good. Sometimes they're not so good. This one seems to be kind of right in the middle. I was enjoying when I was playing of it. But
right.
That's the thing, is that when I was playing it, I was like, okay, this is like this. And instantly I was like, well, this isn't as good. But I'm still in love with the lore, and I'm in love with... The one thing that got me is I was hanging out at Castle Black, and I had to do like these little missions. And the building that you're in, like where people are like hanging out and eating, is way, way, way bigger than it is in the show. Like there's just like big open space for absolutely no reason. So that kind of drew me out of it. But
so my next pickup,
your last one,
yes, is a Sakaguchi game, the other one,
the other Xbox 360 exclusive.
So he had the character design with Akira Toriyama. Now, who's that?
He designed and created Dragon Ball.
No way. And Nobuo Uematsu.
Music, once again, done by the honorable and legendary Nobuo Uematsu.
Yes.
And so, the directed or creator.
Blue Dragon.
Yeah, dude. This is a really cool RPG. It was a pretty big deal when it came out. I remember Nate had the GameStop standee.
Yeah. That
was down in the basement there for a long time. I don't know whatever happened to it.
So I don't know much about this.
No. You were trying to find some stuff to buy, and I'm like, buddy, you have a 360.
It's time to start picking up the RPGs.
And I'm like, at least get some of the big ones, because some of the RPGs that go into the 360 that I've bought, I don't really need to buy.
Right.
Because they're not that great. But when you're talking about Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, those are some of the ones that were exclusive, that were trying to get the Japanese into getting on board with the 360.
Right.
That you need to own, because they're definitely oddballs, because look who published the game.
Yeah, Microsoft Game Studios.
On both of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was them reaching out. Mass Effect was another one of those games that they had worked together with BioWare, and I think LucasArts published the KOTOR games, but obviously BioWare is out there. They're thinking about making a new game. Microsoft was like, "Hey, man, make it exclusive to the 360, and we'll work out a deal. We'll help you publish it. Here's some money." And BioWare made the first Mass Effect, and we're working on the second one on a similar deal. And that's when BioWare ended up getting bought by EA.
Yep.
So EA comes in, and then Xbox got exclusivity for. They still got the Microsoft Studios involvement with Mass Effect 2, because it was involved.
Right.
But then it got exclusive to the 360 for a year. And then after that, Mass Effect 2 came out on PS3. And then a year after that, Mass Effect 3 came out, and that was both platforms.
Right.
But, like, Microsoft Studios at that time was along with the Blue Dragons, along with the Mass Effects, they were trying to, like, man, we need exclusives, and we need these great games to try and bring people over to our side, because they launched earlier. They rushed out the 360. They already had sure they had the shooter markets. They had the Halos.
And them going out too early caused the Red Ring of Death.
Exactly.
And that was like a massive, a lot of people lost their systems. I lost my system because of it.
Rob lost his. He bought his secondhand from his cousin, so therefore there was no warranty.
Yep.
Thankfully, my first system never red ringed. I bought it in 2009, and it was the original style model, but it was the Elite. And from what I did some research, and it was like after 2008, starting with, I believe it was one of the Halo ones, and it may have been 2007. Maybe that was when Halo 3 came out. The Halo 3 system, they kind of changed or used a different kind of soldering, or a different kind of like heat sink paste.
these different pace, and they had better airflow. They made a lot of modifications to it to help it cool.
But so yeah, my original one never red ringed. It ran loud at some points, but that could also just be dust.
And they also released to combat the red ring. They released a fan port that you would plug into, and then your hard drive plugged into. Like, it was really weird the way it's set up. But
I saw so many of them because
there's so many different ones.
I think Rob had one where it stood up and it did it. There was also one I saw that plugged into the back.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ones.
Plugged into the USB.
They were really trying to combat that.
Then of course the Slim. Which is what both the model that you and I have. You have the black one. I have the Star Wars R2D2 one. Then they actually they have a last one, which is like the Slim or Xbox 360e.
Yeah.
Which, from what I understand, if you have a Slim and it's working fine, there's no need to pick up or a Slim E because the fail rate is exactly the same. They made it a little bit smaller, and they made the design. Basically, they were just like trying to trim up design to save a little bit more money on it for people who still wanted the 360.
Right.
And then, of course, for that one, they included a 500 gigabyte model.
That's the only real change to it. But the positive point about that is that you could buy the 500 hard drive and put it in. Yes, it will work just fine.
Yeah. But, I mean, I just think back on like those days because PS3 was struggling. It was so expensive because they included PS2 support, the backwards compatibility. They included the Blu-ray drive, which was controversial at the time, but it caused them to lose money on every console.
Yep.
And then you also had the situation of Sony was in a format war with Toshiba with the HD DVD.
Yes.
So you had Blu-ray and HD DVD going at it to figure out who was going to be the dominant HD optical media for movies. And, of course, Microsoft had already come out and said, hey, the Blu-ray drive is actually, it kind of sucks for PCs. So we're going to go with HD DVD. And so they signed up for that. They started making HD DVD players as add-ons for the 360. And Sony's like, we're going to put it in our system. Because they thought that they were going to have the big outgoing support as for the PS2. They did not. However, it was still a win it was still a gamble that helped them win because by the time the HD DVD backed out, there had been 10 million PS3s sold. So that was 10 million Blu-ray players on the market compared to the 1-point-something million HD DVDs. Players on the market. So it was a gamble that paid off because then it made Blu-ray the dominant HD format.
Right.
So on one hand, Sony was losing money with the PS3. On the other hand, their format just won. So they have all this money coming in on that side.
Right.
But it's like a give and take. And Microsoft at the time, they were like, we need to get ahead. We have the early advantage here. Sony is still too expensive, so people aren't buying them as much. People are buying more 360s because they're failing, but then since they're failing, they're also buying more consoles. We need to keep people here.
Right.
We need to get them, and we need to keep them here. And then getting the exclusive rights to some of these games is part of that.
A game that I must have. I have two games that I must have. Perfect Dark Zero, because these are the games that I'm...
Super cheap.
The one that's not, that I currently already own, and I looked at it when we were there, and my heart broke a little bit because it still hasn't dropped in price. $32 for Need for Speed Most Wanted. $32 still. I just stared at it and I was just like, I want you so bad. Like, I'm almost willing to pay it because it's one of my favorite Need for Speed. That's what burnt up my Xbox was Need for Speed Most Wanted. And I sit there and stared at it for the longest time. It was just like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Not yet. Please go down in price. I don't think it will. Pray to the gaming gods. Please drop the price.
What's that? Cartman's like, ma'am. Sneaks in like, all the kids at school, they're all getting the new Xbox. and I would like to get the Xbox too so I could play with them. Well, honey, we can't. We don't have the money. But, ma'am, if I don't get the new Xbox, you'll make fun of me. and I won't be cool. We can't afford the Xbox. Damn it, get the Xbox! Goes right up to the next one. That's great. South Park's coming out next month.
Yes.
The Fractured Butthole. I do not have that game pre-ordered because I made a decision that back in Taxmas, South Park didn't have a hard date. Neither did Red Dead Redemption, but I'm like, one of these is going to get delayed.
Yes.
I pre-ordered Red Dead. It got delayed. And
that game comes out October 17th.
Fractured But Whole, yes.
Fractured But Whole.
So I'm hoping that I'll be able to pick that up because that is going to be like my fall game that I want to get because I loved the Stick of Truth
Great
that
game.
much. I was so surprised.
Yes.
I knew I was going to have fun with it, but I didn't realize it was going to be that good. That was like my biggest surprise as far as like games that I bought on a whim.
Right.
You know, like, oh yeah, let's pick this up. That gets to be fun. And then I end up loving it. But we have a few stories here.
We go through the stories.
Yeah. We're going to go through the stories because we're going to look at the upcoming games.
Yes.
In a few minutes. So, L.A. Noire is getting remastered.
Yes.
For the Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. And it also includes a VR experience. And also for the Switch, we also get motion controls for the Joy-Cons.
Yep. We
get HD rumble support. We also get touch support. I just got thrown off by Calvin. He commented on that video that I sent him.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, really surprising with this. This game came out 2011. I enjoyed the game. Some people complain about the driving. Oh, it isn't that smooth. You're driving a tank. So, I mean, it's a little accurate, really. I was like, maybe they were just a little too accurate.
Right.
What I did like is how you can make your partner drive, and it would fast travel you there. That way you could... There's a couple different ways that you could play it. You did have to drive some places.
Right.
But then we went to the crime scenes, and it was really cool because there are not a lot of games that are like that, where you play the cop, and you go through the crime scene trying to find the clues. And you're, trying to put things together. And then there's even some cases in here. It could be one or the other. And you have to interrogate them. And you don't know which one it is.
You gotta guess.
You can do the detective work. If you ask the right questions and answer things right, you'll get a right or more right answer.
Right.
But literally, for this case, and there's one that I'm thinking of right off the bat, it's when you're in homicide. It can go either way.
Huh.
And you are sitting there and you're looking at everything and you're just like, well, it could have been this guy because of this. But this guy. And they're both not really wanting to cooperate with you.
Right.
The way that you want. Sometimes you can tell right away when someone's lying. And another times it's a little bit more difficult. I'm looking forward to this game coming back out because it's going to get 4K support. It's an older game, so they're going to get 4K, 60 frames per second.
Right.
On the PS4 and Xbox One. On the Switch, you're going to get the game on portable and be able to do some more things with it. That's really cool. This is a game that I'm more than happy to buy again. I bought it once. I think I might have bought all the DLC for it, but I never played through it all. That's just one of those games that has a really unique way of storytelling where it weaves in past events with current events, almost like in a Quentin Tarantino type style of storytelling. It gets you confused a little bit you'll be confused until about halfway through the game and you're going, all right. And you actually start meeting some characters that were in the past that come back forward. But I really dig the style. I like the 1940s detective style. One of my favorite movies as a kid was Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
So it's that, that music style with like the saxes and all, the saxophones and like the hats and the coats. So of course they wear suits, but I like that. And I also love the movie LA Confidential. So like this is maybe a niche game, but like it really appeals to me because just in like the same way that Red Dead Redemption tickled that itch you didn't know you really needed itched for like a Western game. You're like, how's this gonna work? Turns out pretty well.
Right.
L.A. Noire, maybe not as good as Red Dead, but it's pretty decent, especially with all the cool actors they got to come in and play roles that these are not like big, huge Hollywood actors, but you go, I've seen him before.
Does that mean I'm an untouchable?
But you're going to be like, I saw him in something. And usually they're people who played side roles in Law & Order, Supernatural. One guy that I recognized, I'm like, who is this guy? And I did a whole interrogation with him, and I'm just like,
I know that voice.
well, not just a voice, but they did facial capture.
Right.
This is the most enhanced facial capture. They had cameras. They didn't do the dots. They had cameras all the way around them to capture minute facial movements.
Right.
It is insane, the amount of money that they spent to do this. Because the studio closed right after. Because it was a financial loss for them.
Right.
And Rockstar shut them down and said, no more. However, the game that they turned out, it suffered a little bit, but what is there is like the stuff that they were able to accomplish lent itself to other stuff, to other projects. But that guy ended up being the little brother of Tim Allen in Home Improvement.
What?
It was the same actor. I'm like, when I looked it up, I'm like, yes, wow, okay.
Home Improvement.
I had no idea.
Pad.
Also, I mean, there's also what?
He got his spot.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's got a little leg. His legs going. All right. Rockstar will also release L.A. Noire, the VR case files for the HTC Vive headset. This collection pares down the original game to focus solely on 7 of the cases from L.A. Noire, rebuilt specifically for VR. So it will just pick and choose. IGN's review of the original game was an 8.5.
It's not terrible.
No, hell no.
It's really good.
Anything
in the 8s is good.
It has its faults. It definitely has its faults.
All games have their faults.
Well, because see, this game, it has some shooting in it. It's not the best shooter. It has some driving in it. Not the best driver. But then, like the other parts of it, the case building, the interrogations, that's the meat of the game. That's really fun to play.
Right.
But then you do have to do a chase scene every once in a while, and you're driving this big Buick tank, and you're like, turn. God damn it. That's what sucks about it, is that because you're a cop, you really don't. I mean, you can free drive,
right?
But literally, since it lets you a lot of the time just let the other guy drive, you can get to a mode where you don't drive enough, so you don't get a feel for the cars,
right?
So that is a downside. Also coming out for the Switch, Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. I believe. And L.A. Noire comes out November 17th. Was that?
You sure? Let's find out.
14th. November 14th.
Yeah. You must be thinking about Star Wars Battlefront 2 that comes out November 17th.
Oh, yeah. Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 coming to Nintendo Switch. The Switch versions of 1 and 2 will be arriving on November 28th.
Huh.
And, of course, Revelations originally released on the 3DS.
Yes.
Then ported to the Wii U and then to pretty much everywhere else.
Right.
Then Revelations 2 did not go to 3DS. It went to the consoles. The game will be running at an increased frame rate. It doesn't say what, but increased at 1080p, as well as improvements to animations and details within the game. So, cool. I mean, we get some more. Like Revelations was one that really surprised people because it kind of brought back an old school Resident Evil feel.
Yeah.
But here's something that I wanted to talk about because I saw this either today or yesterday. The Pokemon Company CEO thought the Switch would fail. I told Nintendo that Switch wouldn't be a success before it went on sale. It's obvious I was wrong.
And we're all happy that you were wrong.
Yeah. Pokemon Company CEO, I'm going to butcher this name.
Oh, yeah, butcher it up.
Tsunekazu Ishihara has said that he originally told Nintendo that the Switch wouldn't be a success, but now realizes his mistake. Well, Just now, huh?
Just now.
Like, it's doing better than I thought. Has offered some tiny hints as how the Pokemon game for Switch will take advantage of the hybrid console. Speaking to Bloomberg, Ishihara explained, I told Nintendo Switch wouldn't be a success before it went on sale because I thought that in the age of the smartphone, no one would carry around a game console. It's obvious I was wrong. So I can understand.
It's a viable thought.
And that's because of basically he's witnessed the decline of the 3DS compared to the original DS.
Well, me and you were both hoping it would do well, but we were both still a little wary. And then it just exploded.
Boom.
And then, yeah, that was great. I mean, it's great. It's doing well.
However, he seems to put that success came down to good games rather than hardware. He came to realize that the key to a successful game is quite simple. Software with absolute quality leads sales of hardware.
I'm going to go ahead and tell him he is wrong because the system sold so many copies with so little games for it right out the gate that proves that it's a hardware.
It's to me, I get what he's saying.
It makes sense.
Because think of the launch title. It's the most anticipated Zelda game in a long time.
Yes.
And one of the highest rated, not just Zelda games, but games ever.
Period.
Breath of the Wild, it did for Zelda what Skyrim did for Elder Scrolls.
Yes.
Yes. Oblivion was already there.
Yes.
Skyrim, polished it. So you already had this big open world, but they just took what worked there and said, what if we put that in Zelda? And it was like...
Yeah, it literally... I love the fact that there is a story, but you can choose to do whatever you want, however you want, whenever you want. That's what I enjoy.
He offered small hints on the thinking of making a mainline Pokemon game for the new console. With the Switch, he explained, we see it as a chance to create Pokemon that goes deeper and a win with a higher level of expression. As a result, that makes it an extremely important platform. Right now, we're using 7 to 8 inch screens, but on a high definition TV, you can express a whole different world of graphics and sound.
I hope, and I've said this before, one of the best things that could ever happen to Pokemon is to have instant commands. Where like you guys have a level like Ash and Pikachu, where he can change his move instantly to counter the other one. I think that would just put it over the top.
He also revealed that the company is applying a wider thinking about multiplayer. Until now, games were made as one for one person. But now you can go home and play with everyone. So how do we tackle these themes? How do we make sure it's not complicated? It's not entirely clear whether that thinking. It's not entirely clear whether that thinking centers around the Switch console's innate social aspects, this split Joy-Con play,
yes,
or more familiar online play.
I feel like the online play would be the easiest way.
Yeah.
But the ability to maybe have a team, like me and you could sit down and play Pokemon together.
Right.
That would be interesting. Like dual battles. That would be cool.
And as for whether or not a new Pokemon game would come with new extra peripherals like controllers or games or skins or whatever.
Oh, it will.
He said he can't say that we'll release accessories, but I'd like to think of that possibility. And they will.
It's going to. It's Pokemon. It's one of the biggest franchises that Nintendo has. It's going to happen.
Our last bit of Nintendo news is a big, super controversial topic. Mario is no longer a plumber.
He's a former plumber.
In an official profile of Mario, Nintendo's Japanese site has been spotted and translated by Kotaku. The hero is described as an all-around sporty, whether it's tennis or baseball, soccer or car racing.
Jesus.
Mario does everything cool. As a matter of fact, he also seems to have worked as a plumber a long time ago.
A long time ago. I think I've seen him go down a few pipes here recently. Just saying. What'd I do?
It's funny because at the end of the article here, it says, like, Miyamoto described Mario's original form, Jumpman, as a carpenter. He only became a plumber when Mario Brothers was released. And then, since then, he's been a doctor, cement factory worker, a soldier that's trying to bomb people in what seems like Vietnam. And then, of course, he also was a janitor in Sunshine.
Yes. He really he's this, like, the all-around guy. He's like the jack of all trades.
He is.
He's a jack of all trades.
And they live in a really weird place.
They do. It's very
odd.
In
the Mushroom Kingdom.
All right. So, we'll talk about a few things here.
We're going to talk about some games that are going to come down the pipeline. Of course, we are in the midst of September, and of course, as we record this week, of course, you will listen to this. This will have been last week. Destiny 2 had just had come out for the consoles,
right?
And so we're going to look at.
We're going to start from Destiny 2 and move through.
Yeah. So.
You have the same list I do?
No.
Okay.
I have a different list.
So, coming out Friday, which is tomorrow, Monster Hunter Stories for the 3DS. EU. So, we will not see that here.
Yeah, you know we're not seeing that.
But all of those that listen to us in the EU, go pick that up. It's Monster Hunter. I got Pro Evolution Soccer, which neither one of us really care too much about.
And no, but that's one of the only games that Konami is still making. Which they're still making Metal Gear Survive for some reason. I don't
I don't know. I got Dream Break.
Never heard of it.
Me neither. And Rayman Legends Definitive Edition comes out for the Switch September 12th. That'll be an interesting game.
September 9th, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. September 22nd, my birthday. Project Cars 2. Those last two games are, both Marvel vs. Capcom and Project Cars 2 are available. This is only the 50 games that are coming out in the next few months. 50 of the most anticipated.
They're missing some.
Well, they are. But that's why we both have lists.
Right.
So that way we can just talk about some different stuff. Both of those games, as I've been trying to say, they're out for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And lastly, the last one I'll say here for September for me is Cuphead is finally coming out for the Xbox One and PC September 29th.
Ooh. All right. So one of my most anticipated games coming out is Metroid: Samus Returns, which is basically Metroid 2, September 15th.
Re-envisioning.
It's a re-envisioning. It's a remake, but it's a re-envision. It looks great. And then, since we were talking about physical DLC, this is kind of a standalone, but it is still considered a DLC. Dishonored, Death of the Outsider. That comes out September 15th as well. And it is $30. We looked it up because we were a little confused if it was actually a DLC or a standalone game. It is a standalone game on the Dishonored 2 engine.
More than likely. I mean,
right.
They may have done a few updates to it, tweaked this and that. So we also have the Switch version of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
Yes. The Poké Tournament DX for the Switch comes out September 22.
Also with
which they just had a tournament with this last week.
Did they? Yeah.
At PAX. So
the Xenoverse 2 is also on September 22nd.
Yes. And then you've got, let's see.
Danganronpa 2.
Yeah.
Or Danganronpa 3, my bad. That comes out for PS4 and PS Vita and PC September 26th.
Yes. And then you have the Batman: The Enemy Within Episode 2 is released September 26th.
That is for Season 2 of the Batman Telltale series.
Halo Wars 2 Awakening, The Nightmare expansion comes out September 26th. Another game that I'm super excited for, and I will be wearing the Pip-Boy here. And it will be on, I will have my phone on my arm. It's going to happen. Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition. That is coming out for PC, PS4, Xbox One, September 26th. And, somebody's wearing the Fallout hat.
Bought a new hat today. Only $5.
And Nintendo SNES Classic Mini console launches September 29th.
Have fun tracking one of those.
Good luck. And that's really Monster of the Deep, Final Fantasy 15, PSVR.
Yeah, VR thing. Yeah.
But that is what we have in September. Now in October,
I will go ahead and say a few.
I'm
First,
only going to hit up the big ones.
course,
Wait, September. This is big for you, Forza fans. The Forza demo comes out. Forza 7 demo comes out on PC, Xbox One, September 19th. Which the following month it will come out October 3rd. So if you want early, at least to get your hands on it early, get it soon.
Right on, man. Right on. October 10th, Middle Earth: Shadow of War, the sequel to Shadow of Mordor.
Yes.
October 13th, Evil Within. Oh,
Evil Within 2.
I think we need to clarify Middle Earth and Evil Within 2, PS4, Xbox One, PC.
Yes.
Fractured But Whole, October 17th, PS4, Xbox One, PC. October 27th, big day here. Assassin's Creed Origins, PS4, Xbox One, PC.
Oh, wow. That's the big one.
Yeah,
Guess
Super
the next one
Mario
you're gonna
Odyssey, Nintendo Switch.
Wolfenstein 2.
Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, PS4, Xbox One, PC. That's pretty cool because there's 3 really big games coming out with 3 different audiences.
Yes.
So that's going to be really cool.
That's good. That October 27th is going to be hard for me. Because that will be when I'm sitting there staring at that Switch going, you need it. You need it now. Now you have to have it. There's no other way around it.
You know, and let's just say that I really do hope that the new Assassin's Creed is good. It's a series.
Yeah.
It's a series that I have enjoyed. I have not played Unity or Syndicate or even Rogue. I've sat out since 4. However, I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with the series, and then hopefully them taking some time away from it gives them time to like re-envision what this series can be.
Right.
So best of luck to them. I won't be getting that day 1, but if it comes out and it's a freaking awesome game, I probably will pick it up down the line.
All right. So for me, I'm going to skip a couple here because, Dragon's Dogma. I've looked at getting some of those. They're on. They've got one on PS3 that I've kind of walked around with it for a while, a couple of times, and put it back. It's pretty pricey. It's like $18-19.
Yeah. Yeah, we're cheap collectors.
Yeah. Forza 7, October 3rd, which I already mentioned that. Star Wars Battlefront 2 pre-order beta. So if you pre-ordered it, your beta will be up October 4th. Star Wars Battlefront 2 open beta. So that's any player. October 6th. Does not state how long those will last. I believe the last time it was for the weekend, but then they had issues with the game servers not working, so they extended that through the entire week, which is very cool of them, but I ended up playing a lot of it, and then I was kind of like, nah. If I would have only played that one day, I probably would have bought it. But then I got more time behind it. I was like, it's fun, but nah.
However, the second one,
it's going to be amazing.
And you're going to pick it
I'm
up?
picking it up.
That's
it
awesome.
won't be a day 1 pickup, but I will end up picking
maybe
it up. Later on.
Well, because I know your current schedule, you're probably not going to be having much time off.
No.
But when you do get some time off, be able to sit back, you'll be able to play.
So another big game coming out for PCers, Age of Empires Definitive Edition.
The remake, the HD version of the original Age of Empires.
Right. We already talked about Evil Within 2.
And that comes out for PC.
Yeah, Evil Within 2, the Fractured Buckle.
WWE 2K18 comes out PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch.
Yes.
October 7th. It doesn't say Switch on there, but it does come out for the Switch. They announced that a little bit later.
So a game that I've been looking forward to for this entire year and have yet to see, which I don't know if I'm going to get it. I might get a day 1. Gran Turismo Sport. PC, PS4. That is October 17th. Fire Emblem Warriors. That is for the new 3DS, specifically new 3DS, Switch. October 20th. EU.
It's going to come here, but it's coming there first.
Right.
Destiny 2 PC.
Yep.
Now, I heard about that. A friend of ours at work got so excited. He played the beta for Destiny 2 and loved it.
Right.
And then so Tuesday, he ran home to play Destiny 2, and he couldn't get it to load. That's when he realized his version on the PC doesn't launch it for another month.
That sucks. Road Rage. PC, PS4, Xbox One, October 24th. Yeah.
Road Rage.
Yeah, and then, of course, you hit the big ones right there.
Yeah.
There's some more here. Well, here's November.
So we go into November. The big ones in November: Call of Duty, World War II, PS4, Xbox One, PC. November 2nd, we already talked about Star Wars Battlefront 2. That is November 17th. Also on the 17th, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, PS4, Xbox One, PC, Nintendo Switch.
Right. Then you've got, for me, .hack, GU Last Recode, PC, PS4, November 3rd. Zero Dawn, Horizon Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wilds.
Big DLC expansion.
If you like the game, it just adds more to the story. November 7th. I lost my place. There's a lot here.
Need for Speed. I'm sorry.
Need for Speed.
Payback.
This one, with Forza 7 and Gran Turismo Sport coming out, I don't really see myself touching that too much.
It's a good year to release the Need for Speed, though.
It is.
Because with those two big sims, there's your arcade racer.
Yep.
You know?
Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. PC.
Yep, I said that one.
Oh. Pokemon Ultra Sun and
Ultra Moon for the 3DS on the 17th.
Skyrim VR. Now, something about Skyrim VR. I watched a couple people playing it, and it is not the VR that we hoped for. One, because they're having people their brains are getting tricked that they're actually there and they fall. So they went and moved towards a teleport movement. Personally, for me, I don't want that.
Even though you would probably be the one to get really bad motion sickness.
I'd still play the shit out of it. I currently am playing.
You would just be like,
I'd still keep going. Doom, VFR, virtual fucking reality.
Yeah, I remember that.
That comes out.
PSVR and HTC Vive.
Gear Club comes out for the Switch December 1st. They kind of put November and December together. Just gonna keep going here. Dead Rising 4, Frank's Big Package.
I assume that is a DLC.
Yeah. Fallout 4 VR. The HTC Vive. Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition. I didn't know that was coming out.
I didn't even know. Maybe that's coming out with the DLC. DLC is supposed to be coming out.
2K18 on the Switch.
Fall. But I assume it's coming on the same day. And then they haven't announced the date yet, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is probably coming out in December, just like Chronicles X did.
And then the same way with Skyrim for the Switch is holiday.
Rocket
League Switch holiday, and that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah, then we're going into next year, but we don't have any hard dates. I think Far Cry has a hard date for February.
Right.
I believe that's like February 28th.
I'm not seeing a hard date on it.
February 27th.
February 27th.
That's Far Cry. But then next year we're supposed to be having the new Spider-Man game that looked amazing.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
And then of course the new God of War, which looked really good. Red Dead Redemption 2, which we haven't seen any gameplay of yet because they're bastards. But then again, that's probably going to be really good because it's a Rockstar game and we know it's going to be good. The console version, the new console Dissidia game,
yes,
is coming out.
PS4 only, January 30th, 2018.
Secret of Mana, February 15th.
February 15th.
I saw gameplay of that finally.
For the PC, PS4, and Vita. I
actually saw gameplay of that for the first time the other day.
Did we watch it together?
No.
Okay.
We watched
it tonight.
We watched the reveal, and it. I think it's an early build because the mouse don't move, but maybe they just don't move.
Maybe not, but that is something that I will be picking up on the Vita.
Same.
Because when you come to these games like that, they're not like making them 4K, phenomenal facial expression. They're just taking the game, they're polishing it up, and they're putting it on these systems. So get it for the Vita. That gives you another RPG that's mobile.
Yep.
And
can't beat that, man.
And then the Crew has a hard date in March. So there's some good ones through here. Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition.
Yeah.
But
Pocket Edition comes out in the fall too.
Monster Hunter World.
Early
2018. That is a big one.
Definitely. We were talking about that at work today.
It's a great game. It looks like a great game so far. I'm excited for it.
It's definitely going to be a big one.
I really like the environment. That's the biggest thing for me is like when he takes on that T-Rex style.
Yeah.
and he's knocking stuff down, pulls him down, ties him to the tree, pulls the tree over on top of him. I mean, that's awesome. But I believe that'll do it for today. We got anything else?
We
do have recommendations.
We do have recommendations, and I definitely have mine.
Huh. Wonder what that is.
Kingdom
Hearts 2?
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Ha!
It's one of my favorite games for the PS2. This was, I think, in 06. Oh, God, there's so many freaking
Holy
copyright.
crap.
But then again, they're doing the
Disney.
They have so many different copyrights on here. This is copyrighted in 05, which I think it actually came out. If it came out in late 05, it might have come out. But I remember playing it in 06. But Kingdom Hearts 2, awesome freaking game. You can get this on PS2. You can get this on PS3. And the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD collection, you can get this on the PS4.
Yes.
In the 1.5 and 2.5 HD remaster.
Of the remaster.
But what that allows you to do is with that version and then the 2.8 edition, what those two versions of that allow is for you to have almost all of the Kingdom Hearts games on one console before 3 comes out, which is cool that they went through all that detail. It seems like it's money shilling, but for anybody, it's been so long and such a long road to get to 3. That it's cool that they've bundled them all onto one system.
They almost have to at this point to try to really get the piqued interest of those that have never played them and have seen the gameplay and say, "Oh, this is awesome."
Yeah.
Because to me, this game is a Final Fantasy with Tails.
A little bit.
The Tails battle system is in that.
Kind of.
It is because it drops you into a circle, which is what Tails does. Most Tails games do. Earlier, you drop into a circle and you run around in the environment that you're in that circle, and you fight.
Yes and no, because they utilize the area of the map that you're in.
Right, and Tails does not do that.
Because you're running around, and all of a sudden the enemies just go, and then you can run around entirely in the area that you're in.
Right.
You're not limited. But then again, the way that they design the levels are not so to the point where you can just go. It's not open world.
Right.
So you can't just go anywhere. But it's the action, the way they use the magic. Kingdom Hearts 2 allows you to dual wield keyblades, and that is you get like a couple different versions of power ups, and that is badass. I adore Kingdom Hearts 2, and I am really hoping that 3 is just as good.
Man, you really built yours up.
Yeah.
Because I don't really have one. Because I can't say anything that I have in front of me.
Yeah, because you've never played
I've never
a lot
played
of them.
through them. Like I may have said, "Hey, look, this works. We'll move on," but I honestly have to think about it. Actually, I'm gonna go old school.
Go for old school then.
Just because next week, place the original Samus Returns.
Well, that was your, and we'll talk about that next week when you get. Does that come out tomorrow or does that come out next week?
15th.
So we won't even get to talk about it next week.
Nope.
Not unless we move the record date.
It all depends on work on that, but
I mean, because we could do the show on Friday, and then you would have the game and we'd be able to record. However, I normally do JIC on Friday, so I would have to record here and then go home and then record again, which I can do. I can definitely do that.
At a later date.
But I mean, we can talk about it, so that way we can actually have the game here, and we can we can unbox it and we can talk about it, and you can share your story about your love for the Metroid series.
That is the game that started for me. So I have a good story with that. It's actually one of the first games I ever had for the original brick Game Boy.
Gosh, man, that thing. Matt Milliken gave me his old brick, and I tried playing it, and I can't play it. My eyes are like,
it's terrible.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Which I've seen some pretty cool mods for backlit Game Boys over the years. I would love to get. It's funny because I have like every freaking Game Boy Advance except for the original.
Yeah.
I have the SP and I have the Micro, but I want to get the original Game Boy Advance and put a backlit colored screen in it.
It'd be cool.
Because I like my SP. but the form factor just is not that comfortable.
So tiny. I've been trying.
You think that's the micro is even tinier, and that's one of the things that I bought for collection purposes, really, because I don't need it. But I think it's so cool, and the picture looks so crisp. Yeah. It's also so small. It only plays GBA games, so. Yeah, well, I'm excited for next week's episode if we're able to do that and unbox that game here.
That would be great.
Yeah, dude. We can definitely make it happen. But with that being said, I think it will do it for us here today on the show.
Yes.
Thank you for checking us out wherever you have downloaded us, whether it be on audio or whether you're watching this on video. Well, of course, if you want us to take us on the go with you, we're available on all major podcast services. We're on iTunes. We're on the Stitcher Radio app, Podbean. We're on Google Play Music. We're on, of course, as I said, YouTube. You can check us out there. And, of course, you can go to GameAddictsPodcast.com.
That is brand new this week.
Yes, I completely forgot to mention that. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Doggy coming here to say hello. Hey, Patfoot, how you doing? Yeah.
Looks just like dog meat.
Yeah. Have you gone to the website yet? Have you? Yeah. You went. Like, what do you think? I mean, it's the exact same site though. I haven't changed this. I haven't changed it. It's just the website. Because if you go to GameAddictsPodcast.com, now it's much more streamlined as far as like the name. You don't have to .podbean.com or just find a link. GameAddictsPodcast.com. Go there. All of our episodes are right there, so if you want to, on your phone, you can download them there if you want. Or if you're on your PC and you're just hanging around the house, you can throw us on in the background from there and listen to us from there. Of course, if you want to help support us, head over to the Journey into Comics Network Patreon. You can head over to patreon.com/Journey into Comics and get early access for just $1. You can get early access to this show up to a week early. I'm going to go home tonight, edit the audio. It's going up tonight. And that way you guys never have to wait a week to hear what we're talking about. And, of course, you also get early access to all the other shows that are on the network, which are just expanding. And we're going to be thinking about launching more shows going into the next year. You know, I mean, maybe perhaps we're going to be thinking about offering some people some shows if they want to do shows.
Right.
You know, I mean, we're trying to grow this thing, and it's working, man. It's really cool.
Try to rope in a few people.
Well, I mean, it's really cool because, you know, we're seeing some kickback from that here, and
yes,
we're seeing our numbers go up, and it's so awesome because we've actually talked about what are we doing right, and I'm like, I don't know, but it's just
can't
so
figure it
cool.
out.
It's so cool, and we're so happy to have any and all new listeners come to the show. Be sure to share the show, man. Share it and give us back, you know, your comments. What are some of your favorite games?
Make fun of me for getting stuff and pronouncing stuff incorrectly, because when it comes to the fly, I get a little.
That's why.
Get a little nervous, and I'm like,
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. Please don't feel bad. I won't hold you dead to rights to it. So what we're gonna
fuck you. Hey, what system is that on?
Is that PS1?
I don't know.
PS2, GameCube, Xbox, GameCube. It's on Xbox too.
Yes.
Thank you guys for checking out this episode. We loved having you. We hope that you loved having us. Until next time, I'm Brando,
and I'm Mike,
and we'll see you then.